Welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping. Welcome to the Green Aqua YouTube studio. I am going to build a guppy tank today, as you probably saw in the title of this video. And this is my speculation, is going to be one of the most popular videos of Green Aqua. Let's hope so, because we're talking about a subject that is very popular with many people. With that, I'm going to show you how the end result looks like. So this is the guppy tank that we built today. Do you like it? I don't know how it's going to look like, because I'm just going to build it now. With that in mind, this video is made for beginners. If this is your first planted tank, if you're new to the channel, or you're just thinking about getting into aquascaping, having beautiful plants, fish, rocks, nice lighting on your little tank, on your little aquarium, then this is the video for you. We've got many different tutorials on this channel. We talk about filtration, lighting, carbon dioxide, CO2 injection. We talk about substrate, we talk about decoration, about layout, making, about the different aquatic plants, about the different fish. If you check out our tutorial playlist, I'm going to link that in the description, you will learn quite a lot that is to be known about this beautiful hobby. Today, I'm going to build a low-tech tank, which means that it doesn't require any CO2 injection. It's going to be a very small tank, so you can put it on a kitchen counter, for example. It's going to have only plants that are, suitable for low-tech tanks, which means that they don't require carbon dioxide injection. It's going to have an internal filter. It's going to have inert substrate, which means that you don't need clay-based soil and any substrate below that. And with that said, I'm going to change a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to add carbon dioxide injection to this. You don't have to. Why do I do that? Because if you do have that, your plants will grow better, your carpet will look nicer, the greens are going to be more vibrant. The second thing that I'm going to change is I'm going to add an external filter. Why? Because you need strong filtration. It will make your maintenance easier. You will have less algae. Ammonia levels will be lower. So ideally, you will need to have an external filter. If you don't have it, you don't want to have the budget for it, because this is your first planted tank. You don't want to jump into spending a bigger amount of money on that, then you can get by with an internal filter. And lastly, we're going to have a fish that is favored for many next to the betta fish, guppies. Guppies are nice, right? I used to have guppies in my childhood. They're so colorful, they're swimming all around the place. They always come to the surface when you try to feed them, and that leads to the biggest problem that we have with this kind of fish. They're just not afraid of anything. So they will jump out of the tank because they all swim next to the surface, and as they play around, they jump here and there. There's just so much aquarium that they have at disposal, so they're just gonna jump out with open top planted tanks. And this is why we used this tank, this Oasis Styline 125. It's not 125, it's 85. You don't have to use this tank because this is a premium kind of tank, which means that the price is a little bit steeper. You can do any covered top tank style here. You've got a nice layout in it, which was built by my business partner and co-founder of Green Aqua, Attila Neder. You probably remember we had a video where we had a contest, a hardscape building contest with Tommy and Attila. This was his layout. We've got the Dennerle inert pebbles, gravel, and we've got the petrified wood stone. The bonsai tree is also something that has been pre-built. It's been glued together with separate types of wood. So you will have some epiphyte plants in it. It will look like a small bonsai tree, which was kind of invented by Felipe Oliveira, the very, very talented Portuguese aquascaper. He has been called the bonsai man for many years, and he was the first one to come up with this idea of having underwater trees. We have like 2 workshop videos with Felipe Oliveira on this channel if you want to check that out. I'm going to also link that in the description. So this channel is meant to be the, we are trying to be the center of aquascaping that features many very talented aquascapers from all around the world, trying to inspire you, trying to teach you, trying to give you more information about this beautiful hobby. All right? So with that said, let's see what we're gonna do. The first thing that I'm going to do is, somebody put this cross here, I'm gonna take it out. Let me talk about the layout a little bit. This one is in golden ratio right here, which is a cool thing. If you have golden ratio on any picture, on any composition, that will look very pleasing to the eye. The height of it is also in golden ratio. So this whole layout is made with the different layers. You've got a foreground here, empty. You've got the midground with these, and then you've got a tree, and then you've got the background. So it's quite a deep tank as far as the layers go. So let's start planting. I'm going to use Anubias underwood. For the foreground plant, I'm going to use Marsilea hirsuta. And for the background, my plan is to use some kind of red. And the problem with reds is that they don't really like the lack of CO2. So what do you need to have nice reds in a planted tank? We received that question many times. You need low nitrates. So you should ideally use a kind of fertilizer that does not have nitrogen in it. For example, the ADA, I know it's not a budget fertilizer, but the ADA ferts are low nitrate ferts. We have a fertilizing masterclass where I explain about the fertilizing if you're interested. It's also linked in the description. You guys, this is a starting point for aquascaping video here, right? Okay, so you need low nitrates, and you need ideally a good quality RGB lighting. If you have those two, you're going to be fine. Some people say that you need iron fertilizing for red plants. We didn't use additional iron additives. If you have a Chihiros Vivid 2 or an ADA Solar RGB and you have ADA fertilizers, it's a no-brainer. You're going to have nice reds, plus CO2 injection for most red plants. This bonsai tree, if you have fish that have longer fins, these kind of hardscape elements do not do anything with it. Now that I touch it, it's a little bit spiky, but I would say that this is not doing anything to the fins of the beautiful guppy fish. Thank you, Gary. So we start with epiphyte plants. All I do is I separated this bunch into 2 pieces, and I'm just going to tuck it in between the roots like that. If you are on a low budget, you do not need to use as many plants as we do here. I'm talking about 8 pots of Anubias. You could probably be fine with 2, maybe 3 for this size of a bonsai tree. Why? Because Anubias is going to grow, become a bigger bush. You can take it out, you can separate it, you can put in other places as well. All you need to do is wait. We don't wait because we release these videos usually after 2 or 3 weeks after I set it up for you guys here. The roots are not going to be very long for this Anubias, so it's going to look great. This is not only an easy to maintain aquarium, this is going to be an easy to make aquarium. Also, this tank is looking great from all sides, so it's going to be probably looking great from this side. We can move on to the Marsilea hirsuta. This Marsilea hirsuta does not need carbon dioxide injection, although it's good to have. Never try to plant these with your fingers. It's not working. So the question was why don't we need any substrate for this? Because you don't have any plants that would require a substrate. The Marsilea hirsuta is a plant that would grow nicely without any substrate. How many Marsilea do you need for a tank like this? 5 pots, not more than 5. 3 Anubias, 5 Marsilea for this size, not more than that. But don't forget that you will need to wait at least 3 weeks, 4 weeks before you introduce the fish, because the filter that you're using needs to cycle. the bacteria in the filter will need to multiply in order to get rid of the ammonia in the tank. Also, if you're using tap water and it has chlorine in it, you will need to use a dechlorinating solution. For example, Secam Prime. What kind of tweezers do you need in order to plant? These are planting tweezers from ADA. The tip is narrow, which means that when you release the plant roots and you take it out of the soil, it will not drag the plant with it. If you don't have enough funds for a planted tank, it is generally a good idea to start small and have a very small planted tank, because then you don't need big filters, you don't need a lot of hardscape, you don't need a lot of soil. With that in mind, the smaller the tank is, the more fragile the ecosystem is, so the more problems you will have with maintenance. So if you want to be a little bit on the sure side, go for at least 60 liters. So I would say that this is already a normal size, and it could be really stable. So let me tell you one thing. If you do have limited funds, the idea is not to state things. The idea is to ask things. How can I afford a beautiful mid-size level planted tank? If you ask the question, you'll know the solution. You've got only two possibilities if you want to save money. One, to spend less. Two, to make more. Nothing else, right? So you do one of them and you will be able to afford a planted tank like this. Usually when you have wood, like redmore wood or even ironwood in the tank, or any type of wood, that will float. So ideally you would need to soak it. If you don't soak it, then you put rock as a weight on it, or you just glue it to the rock, or just cable tie it to a rock underneath the substrate or soil. We don't need to do that in this case because I think it's holding it down quite nicely. This is going to fill in. So this whole carpet is going to like develop rhizomes, and the runners close these gaps, and there's not going to be any soil, any substrate visible. This is a slow growing plant. It doesn't need much trimming, which is a very big pro. There are two types of Marsilea that we use. There's the Marsilea hirsuta and there's the Marsilea crenata. And I usually use Marsilea crenata, but the crenata has smaller leaves, it's a little bit more compact. But I like hirsuta in this tank because it's easier to maintain. It will fill up and carpet a little bit easier. It has bigger leaves, it will look more green overall in this tank. For the red plant, I'm going to use Ludwigia Spec Super Red. That is the only red plant that I know of which is not a huge one and would thrive without CO2 injection, although we have CO2 injection for this particular tank. I'm just going to plant a little curtain behind the scape. Okay, the last Super Red is here. I'm going to divide it in 3 bunches and just use them behind the tree here. We concluded the planting. I hope that you guys like this. All that remains to be done is we have to go to select the beautiful guppies. Not now, because we need to wait at least 3 weeks until we introduce them. This process can be sped up a little bit by introducing some bacteria, some filter starting bacteria that would prime the filter, that would cycle the filter much quicker. Okay, so let's go. We are in the fish room of Green Aqua selecting the beautiful guppies. I asked the opinion of a couple of fish experts here at Green Aqua. First, I asked Victor what he thinks about which guppy should we select here, and he told me that Mark Evans, the British aquascaper, has been using this one, and he told me that he actually prefers this one, Victor, because it's easy to photograph. The second option, I would think it would be these two guys combined or alone. This is the classic ender guppy that we have here. The classic Endo does not have very strong colors, so I would not think that these would look great in the tank. These guys are only male, and the female for them are here. You don't put these together because these are life bearers and they will start breeding like crazy, and you don't want that. You have 25 guppies, that's the amount that we want to include. We have external filter, so the external filter will take care of the denitrification. But if you have an internal filter, please do not select 25. Use about 15 to 20 guppies in this tank because you don't want to overload the biology. I will go with this one. It will look great, the yellows will look great, and with that we concluded this video. You already saw that I selected these. Tell me what you think about this, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye. Don't forget this one, very important.